What if the way you react to disrespect is silently destroying your reputation, without you even noticing? Most people think disrespect is about the other person, but it's not. It's a test of your control, your standards and your true character, because in a single moment of disrespect, you either rise above or you reveal exactly who you are. And the worst part, most people fail this test instantly by reacting in ways that make them look weak, emotional, and predictable. But Stoic philosophy offers a different path, a path where silence becomes power, where restraint becomes authority, and where your reaction becomes your reputation. Today, you'll learn the 5 things you must never do when disrespected, because one wrong reaction, one moment of lost control can cost you something that takes years to rebuild. Respect, Marcus Aurelius wrote, that you have power over your mind, not outside events, yet most people give that power away in seconds. All it takes is one careless comment, one dismissive look, one moment where someone crosses a line and suddenly your emotions take over. This is why the Stoics treated self-control as a form of strength, not weakness. Seneca warned that the person who cannot govern themselves will always be governed by others. And Epictetus reminded us that it is not what happens to us, but how we interpret it, that defines our experience. Disrespect is not the real problem. Your reaction is, because every time you respond without awareness, you are training people how to treat you. And more importantly, you are reinforcing the kind of person you are becoming. Behavior 1. Never react in the heat of the moment when someone disrespects you. Your body reacts before your mind does. Your chest tightens your thoughts. Accelerate your ego, start searching for something to say. Something sharp, something immediate, something that restores your sense of control. But that impulse is exactly where most people lose everything, because reacting in the heat of the moment is not power, it is exposure. It reveals that your internal state can be controlled by external triggers, and once people see that they know exactly how to provoke you again, the Stoic does something different. They pause, not because they are weak, but because they understand that the first reaction is rarely the best one. They create distance between the event and their response, and in that space, they regain authority over themselves. Imagine your mind as a fortress. Every impulsive reaction is like opening the gate for anyone who knows how to knock hard enough, but discipline keeps that gate closed. It forces others to face your silence, your composure, your control, and that is far more intimidating than any emotional response could ever be. Behavior 2. Never over-explain yourself when someone questions your worth, misinterprets your actions, or speaks to you with disrespect. There is a strong temptation to explain yourself, to clarify, to justify, to make sure they understand who you really are. But this is where many people unknowingly lower their own value, because explanation, when given to the wrong person, becomes a form of seeking approval. Seneca made it clear, a person who knows their worth does not feel the need to defend it endlessly. The more you explain, the more it appears that you are trying to convince, and the moment you are trying to convince, you are no longer standing in certainty, you are negotiating your identity. A Stoic understands that not everyone deserves access to their full explanation. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you, and no amount of words will change that. So instead of wasting energy trying to correct every false perception, they remain grounded, they speak when necessary, but they do not chase validation. And that restraint creates a quiet kind of respect right here. If you are starting to recognize how much energy you've wasted trying to prove yourself to others, subscribe to Stoic Spring, because building this level of inner clarity and control will change the way you see yourself and the way others respond to you. Behavior 3. Never ignore it completely. On the opposite side of reaction, there is suppression. Some people convince themselves that staying silent means being strong. They ignore disrespect. They pretend it didn't happen. They avoid confrontation at all costs. But this is not Stoicism. This is fear, disguised as peace. Because what you tolerate repeatedly becomes the standard. Others follow. Unaddressed disrespect does not disappear. It accumulates, it turns into internal tension, quiet resentment, and a slow erosion of self-respect. A Stoic does not react impulsively, but they also do not abandon their boundaries. They choose the right moment, the right tone, and the right words. They address the issue calmly, without emotional chaos, but with absolute clarity. Because true peace is not built on avoidance. It is built on alignment between what you believe, what you tolerate, and how you act. And if those things are not consistent, you will always feel conflicted behavior. 4. Never seek revenge through others when someone disrespects you. There is often a desire to restore balance, but instead of addressing the situation directly, many people turn to indirect strategies. They complain to others, they gossip, they try to build alliances, they attempt to damage the other person's reputation. But this is not strength, it is dependence, because now your sense of control relies on external validation, on other people agreeing with you, supporting you, taking your side. Epictetus taught that a strong person handles their challenges with independence. They do not need an audience, they do not need approval. They either confront the situation directly with calm and precision, or they walk away without noise, because involving others in your conflict does not elevate you. It entangles you. It keeps you emotionally invested and prevents you from moving forward. Real power is simple. It is direct, it is controlled, and it does not need witnesses. Behavior 5. Never lower your standards to match their behavior. This is where most people fall because it feels justified. Someone disrespects you, so you respond in the same tone. You mirror their attitude. You match their energy. You give them exactly what they gave you. And in that moment, it feels like justice. But it is actually loss because you are no longer acting from your values. You are reacting from theirs. You are allowing their behavior to dictate your identity. And that is the most subtle form of surrender. The Stoic never forgets who they are. Their standards are not conditional. They do not rise and fall, depending on the situation or the behavior of others. They remain consistent because consistency is what builds character, and character is what builds respect. When you lower your standards, you may win the moment, but you lose something much bigger. You lose alignment with yourself, and without that, no external victory will ever feel like enough. Here is what most people never realize. Disrespect is information. It reveals how someone truly thinks, how they behave when they feel unfiltered, when they believe there are no consequences, and that insight is valuable because it allows you to make better decisions, who to trust, who to distance yourself from, who deserves access to your time and energy. Your response to disrespect is not just about control, it is about identity. Every moment of restraint, every decision to stay composed, every time you choose clarity over impulse, you are shaping who you become. Someone grounded, someone disciplined, someone who cannot be easily influenced in a world where most people react without thinking. The one who remains steady becomes rare, and what is rare is respected. So stay aware, stay composed, and most importantly, stay in control of what truly belongs to you, your mind. And if you want to keep strengthening that control every single day, subscribe to Stoic Spring, because the more you train your mind, the more you protect your peace, and the more your life begins to change. Now tell me in the comments, what is one moment where you wish you had stayed calm instead of reacting? Because awareness is where real mastery begins.
About what they would become in your life, this fantasy is what keeps you look in an emotional cycle, telling yourself that the dream of what you could just have been. And when the fantasies fade, you gain clarity. This clarity does not come easily, and it does not come without its challenges. It can feel painful at first, like a part of you is being ripped away, but once you allow the spaces to open, you begin to rebuild, you begin to focus on yourself, on your own growth, and on the things that truly matter. The act of letting go is not a betrayal of love, it is an act of self love. You may feel a sense of grief, a sense of loss, but in reality, what you are doing is giving yourself the opportunity to grow. The person you thought you needed was never the key to your happiness. You are always the key to your happiness. The sooner as you recognize this, the sooner you can step into the clarity that comes with letting go. And from the clarity, you can begin to see where you have been neglecting yourself, where you have been compromising your own self for someone else. It's not easy to look at your past relationships and see how much of yourself you gave away. It's comfortable to realize that you may have sacrificed parts of your identity in the name of them, hoping that someone else person who doesn't value you, the more you betray yourself in the name of love. You start to make excuses for them, justify their behavior, and silence your inner voice that knows something is not right. You become so attached to the idea of them that you begin to ignore the truth of who they are. You convince yourself that if you just love them enough, they will come around it, that they will eventually see the worth. The love does not work that way. Real love is not about being constantly reminded of your value by someone else. It's about recognizing your own worth, independent of how someone else treats you. When you realize this, the fog clears and you see the situation for what it truly is. Letting go of someone who does not value you is one of the hardest things to, because it forces you to confront the truth that they were never the solution of your happiness. The truth is simple things, so it's not about losing something real. What you are losing is the fantasy, that the dream of what you could just be. Hold on long enough, things we will change. But here's the hard truth: when you let go of them, you are not just letting go of the person, you are letting go of the dream of who you hoped they would be. Moment you release that illusion, the weight begins to lift. It may feel like you are losing someone, something at first, but what you are actually gaining is clearly. It's like wiping away a fog that's been clouding your judgment, and suddenly everything comes into sharper focus. The fog of fantasy can make you believe that love is enough to make someone change or grow into the partner you have envisioned. But love, in its truest form, is not about changing someone else to fit your needs. It's about accepting them for who they truly are, even if that means letting them go. Carl Jung once said, "I'm not what happened to me, I'm what I choose to become." The key to letting go is not the person's absence, but in your ability to choose a path that no longer depends on them, hoping that someone else would fill the gaps you thought existed. But once you see the truly behind those attachments, you can begin to shift your perspective. You are not losing your love, you are gaining the ability to love yourself more fully. You are gaining the strength to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you, and to create space for never new healthier connections. When you let go of someone who does not value you, you create the opportunity to connect with yourself again. You stop measuring your worth by actions, their actions start measuring it by your own standards. The journey of detachment is not a rejection of love, it's an acceptance of the love. That real love begins with self love. The more you can stand in your power, the more you attract people who value you for who you truly are, not for who they want you to be. You no longer need someone else to validate your existence. You start validating yourself. The clean break you make from the fantasy allow you to step into the freedom of your own authenticity. You stop pretending to be something you are not just to fit into someone else's version of you. Becomes you true self, and doing so, you invite the kind of love into your life that is rooted in mutual respect and appreciation. This is not an overnight change, it's a gradual process of rediscovering who you are without the influence of someone else's expectations. But every step you take it in this direction is a step towards reclaiming your peace and your power. Letting go of the fantasy is not about erasing memories of pretending the past did not matter. It's about recognizing that the person you thought you needed was never the one who could complete. You are already whole. And when you accept that truth, you begin to see that everything you once